All right, you're welcome. I trust you had a wonderful day. This is CIT104. Okay, I trust you can see my screen now. Okay, so this will be the second class. In the last class, in this same course, about some basic things that what do we call it, that you already know about the computer. Those are things you already know, like the meaning of a computer, the meaning of data and information, the uh, characters of computer, and we'll talk about the methods of data processing, starting with the method in terms of chalk and pencil. Move to we move to the mechanical. Then finally, we talked about the computer method. That was where we talked about the characters of the computer method. We talked about the computer method and the character, because the computer method is more accurate, it has speed, it has storage. That means it can store, flexible. We talked about all that. Mm, okay, hold on. So tonight we are meant to start with the computer. Sorry, the assignment. Sorry, an assignment in the last class. Mm, and I remember we use a mnemonym to hold the characters of computer. We say SASARF, if you still remember. So let's start with that as a form of entry and a form of recap into last class. Uh, Permit me to ask you guys, what is or what does SASARF stand for? Who did I assign the? I believe I gave an assignment and I assigned it to one of our class. Was it Dora? Dora, good evening. You're welcome. Thank God you're available tonight. I want to know the person I gave. I asked to handle the CIT104 assignment. Or do you guys mean that we did not? I didn't give you guys assignment. Yes, SASAF means speed, accuracy, storage, flexibility, and reliability. Okay. You switch the position of flexibility and reliability, but you are you are doing well. Dora, by example. Then I have Francis, automatic reliability and flexibility. Thank you, Francis. That is absolutely correct. And of course, Oda Jeremiah is also correct. Thank you. See what we have today. Let's see what we have today. Today we'll move on in this course, but permit me to do a form of introduction again on course. Uh, we will always remind ourselves at the beginning of each class like this in this particular course that this course is a practical course. What it means is that it has practical, but it has practical. So your overall the accumulation of the practical grade that is given and the exam. The exam is going to be over 70 normally, but the grading of the exam, sometimes they may decide to grade the exam over 50, and do practical over 50, depend on the semester and the person handling it. Sometimes they will just 30, 70. Exam remains 70. The the practical will be graded 30. In any, make sure you attend both the practical and the exam, because missing any one of them will only make you have an incomplete result in the course. The course is very important, is a general, regardless of what you are doing in non, regardless of your program, you will do CIT 104. It's a practical course. Everybody will attend the practical. So I just said I should remind you guys that you should bear in mind that this course has practical very soon. I think by September or so, they will start practicals. So you'll be able to join the practicals. You'll be able to go for practicals actually. Uh, for those in Lagos, you don't need to travel around. For those in Togo, you don't need to travel around. Those in Abuja, you don't need to travel to anywhere. Port Harcourt, you don't need to travel to anywhere. I think Kano, you don't need to travel to anywhere. But there are some that are living in states that don't have practical center. You will need to travel to the nearest state. Those in Ibadan, for instance, those in which other states do we have around there? Maybe Ekiti and so on, Ondo. You either go to Lagos or you go to Oshobo. Those are the closest one to you. So it is a practical course. You have practical aspect of it, and the practical is very simple. They will just expose you to how to use one application like that. There is a software you will learn, that is Visual Basic. You learn. They will teach you and then give you an assignment. The assignment they will give you in that practical section is what will serve as your TMA. So bear that in mind that you go for practical this semester. Well, for those of you in programs like mass comm, this admin, and the rest of them, this will be the only practical course you are likely going to do, because you are not in the science department. For science students, you have a lot of practicals, physics 191, chemistry 191, and so on and so forth. All right, so let's leave that and move to what we have. Tonight, we are talking about the computing system. Please don't forget that the first class we had on this class, if you missed it, go and watch it. It's still there on the channel. We talked about the meaning of a computer. Let me ask you this icebreaker. What is a computer based on the definition given to us in the material? I know you have your own definition of a computer, but what did the material say in the last class? What is a computer? Let's see if we still have people who have been following. Yes, I'll be expecting your answers in the chat box. Let's start with that before we start what we have today. Let's just use that as an entry point. We use that as an entry point into today's class. What is a computer? According to your material, according to CIT 104, not in your own knowledge. Yes, yes, yes. I'm waiting for us. Dora said computer is basically defined as a tool or machine used for processing data to give required information. Thank you, Dora. That's absolutely. I have uh, Sadiq Miriam. A computer is basically defined tool or machine used for processing data to give required information. You're all doing well. All right, I think you guys have been following. That is awesome. So let's move to what we have today, the computing system. When you hear the word computing system, let something come to your mind. Everything that partakes in operating a computer, everything you can find, including the table, the chairs that you sit on, the computer itself, the AC you use in the office, everything that's forms the environment where a computer is being operated, and the computer itself is what we call the computing system. Well, we will talk about that. The computing system is made up of the computer system, the user, and the environment in which the computer is operated. So one thing that should remain strong in your mind about the definition of the computing system is that anything at all that partakes in operating the computer, anything you would need to operate the computer is what we refer to. They all partake in what we call the computing system. That means you know what a system means? Kind of organized structure in a kind of routine structure in which something is being done. So when we say this particular system of government, that means some set of rules, procedures, principles, styles that this type of government adopt in using. So that is a system on its own. What a system means on its own, it's a body, a kind of a body or regulatory body or whatever. But the computing system is basically made up of the computer system itself. That means the computer itself, the user, you, the person that you want to operate the computer, and the environment. Maybe it's an office, your room, you're anywhere, and the environment can be the building, the ACs that you have inside, or the fan you are using, the printer, the sockets you have, the everything that does cooperate together to form the operation of the computer is what we call the computing system. So I think it's a very simple thing. It's not something hard for you guys to understand. So don't forget that the computing system is made up of three components. Let's try to drag that in this definition now, or from this definition, we can say that the computing system is basically made up of three units: the computer itself, which we call the computer system, the user, and environment. Things: the computer system, the user, and the environment. The computing system is made up of three things: the computer system, the user, environment. So once you digest that one, we are free to go to talk about the first thing, which is computer system. Three things makes up the computing system: computer system, the user, and environment. Now we want to talk about the first one, computer system. The computer system is made up of the hardware and the software. When you look at the computer itself, you pick up your laptop that you are seeing. If you hold your laptop, that your laptop is functioning on two things. The first one is the one you are holding. That one you are seeing, the monitor, that one that looks like the screen, the keyboard, everything, the one you are touching that you carry in your hand, that is the hardware. That is one part of the computer system. The hardware, the ones you can see, you can touch, you can feel, you can relate to, you can see what you are holding now. This is a laptop, or what you are working on is a laptop. Then we have the software, which are the ones that are inside, that makes the computer to be able to perform the operation that you want to perform. You want to open, you want to edit your photo now, and then you want to use let's say Photoshop. That Photoshop application on your system is a software. You want to draw and you use CorelDRAW. That CorelDRAW is a software. You want to uh you want to type a document and you open your MS Word, Microsoft Word document, that is a software. Those ones are inside. They are like the functional part inside. They are the one working. They are the one that allows you to able to interact with the computer and perform the task that you want to perform. Whereas the hardware are the ones you can just see, you can feel, like the printer, the monitor, that one that looks like a television, and on your laptop is a screen. So then the keyboard, the mouse. So that's hardware and software. But the idea of hardware and software is only on the computer system. Don't forget, we are dealing with a broad topic tonight, the computing system, which is made up of three things: the computer system itself, the user, and the environment. Now we are talking about the computer system. I will say that one too is made up of two things on its own. You can find the hardware on the computer and you can find the software. So let's talk about the hardware fully based on what the material is having for the course. When we get to the practical, please tell us. This course will not just do it for passing exam. You will learn that software, that Visual Basic 6 that they normally use in the practical. You will learn it here too. You will know how to do it. And I pray those of you that don't have a PC yet, God will provide for you. before the end of this course, that you will get your own partner PC and be able to, download some of those applications that will be teaching. I promise you guys that I'm going to teach you MS Word, uh, Excel, and the rest of them too. But it's going to be hard to teach you all those things if you don't have PC. So very soon we'll start the program where you will learn all those skills, especially those of you in mass comm. You must know how to manipulate documents, you must know how to type newspaper, there's so many skills that are fetching people money in these days. Even while you're a student, you're making money around. So that is it. Thank you guys for answering that question. So the hardware, which is the computer hardware, comprises the input, the processing unit, and the output unit. And of course, one by one. When we talk about devices through which you can input into your computer. For instance, I have a picture on my phone that I want to use uh what is it called now? I want to use, let's say, corrector to work on. So how do I remove the picture from my phone and put it in my computer so that the computer can perform the operation on it? I will need something called an input device. That device will be able to communicate between my phone that is having the data and my computer that I want to feed the data to. So we call it input device. So that input device can be, for instance, now, if okay, for instance, let's say I I have, let me not use picture so that we don't try to confuse you guys. Let's say I have a document that I want to type. For instance, I want to type a letter and the letter is on my mind. Now I open Microsoft Word. How do I put the letter that is in my mind? How do I put it on the system? Since I want to type, so how will the letters, sorry, the letter that I have, the sentences, the phrases, and the rest of them that I want to write in the letter, how will they leave my mind and enter the computer? They will need something called input device. While it is burning in my heart, it cannot just disappear from my heart and enter the computer. I will need something called the keyboard. So as it's burning in my heart, I will be typing with my fingers on the keyboard. And as I'm typing, the computer is receiving it. So what the keyboard is serving as is an input device. That means a device through which I can put data into the computer. And we have a lot of them, not only the keyboard. Of course, we have examples of the input device or media. We have keyboard, mouse. I want to move or navigate my computer. Like, this mouse is the one dancing around like this. I think I will need to increase the size of my mouse and color it so that you guys will be able to see. But it's the one that is dancing around like this on the screen. That is the pointer of the mouse. So I can move the mouse. The reason why it is named mouse is that it looks like a rat when you see it, basically. But another thing is that on your laptop is just like a touch something. It's just like your phone is having touch. You just touch it. It's very soft thing here on the laptop. That is your mouse. So we have the mouse, the joystick, we have trackball. Those ones seem to be kind of old version. And then we have scanner. We have the scanner. So what does the scanner does? I know in one way or the other, you might have gone to a cafe before. Somebody asked you to send your birth certificate, and he said, please send it in a high format. Don't snap it, send it in a scanned. Then you will need a scanner. What will the scanner do? When you place the document on the scanner and you close it and you get your scanner to the computer and scan, the scanner will send the image to the computer in a very high format. In fact, when you scan some document and you see the size on the computer, you see it like up to 40 MB, 50 MB, like very high format. So that is the work of a scanner. It also helps you to put in media like pictures, images into the computer. Then you work with it. Like the other time that I was saying, you have a picture of you now, an old one, but you want to enhance it. So you want it to enter your computer. How do you do it? Even though we have modern ways of, snapping on your phone, connecting your phone with a cord, and then the USB cord and the phone, the PC, and the USB cord, a communication takes place and the picture leaves your phone. But there is a standard way of doing it. You can use a scanner, and that is an input device. That is how a scanner serves input device. Keyboard is for typing your letters, and you have words that you want to enter into the computer. The mouse is for navigation. We have joystick, trackball, and so many of them that serves as input devices, and then the scanner. So I am expecting somebody to ask me that, what do they use the joystick to do, and what is the work of the trackball. So I'm expecting someone to ask me that question, but it seems you guys know it, so that's why you did not ask me. Should we explain it, or you know it? Yes, I'm waiting for your responses. Should I explain the use of joystick, or you know it already? I want to. Okay, let's check images. Let's check images. Let me try to check images and share another screen. I will share another screen now where you see images of that joystick and trackball, and what they are used for. This course is a practical course. It's not just telling you guys this thing is this one is that. You need to see it. It's very good you see them and know what they are used for. So I'm much more concerned about the images. Okay, so let me share another screen. Permit me to share another screen aside the course material now, where you will be able to see what we call the joystick, and of course the uh I know some of you have seen this joystick because they are kind of old version. People don't normally use them now. Mouse, 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 mouse everywhere. Mouse everywhere. So everybody who are only interested in using the mouse now. Now look at the joystick. Do you see it's looking like what do we describe this as now? This is a picture of a joystick. I hope it's big enough on your screen, or I should try to bring it up a bit. So those of you that are gamers, like those of you that like playing games a lot, this joystick play a similar role like your pad. You know the game pad now. Pa, 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 pa. You are playing what do you guys call it, PS, and all these, Mortal Kombat and the rest of them. So you can use it to control, like if you are playing an aircraft game now, it's very easy to play games. In fact, the work is like they made it for game, but it's also for navigating on the computer actually. So it plays a similar role with that of the mouse, but the closest thing we can align it with is uh your keypad. I know you call it pad also for the one you normally use to play game. Mhm. So video games. So what of the trackball? That one want to look like a mouse. This is the trackball. This is the track. In fact, you see that it looks like a mouse. They use this a lot before they develop this modern mouse that we are using. So the trackball is also for moving around on the system, but the way they made the trackball is not like the mouse that you be carrying around. That one is static, like it's just fixed to one place. So when you want to move anything, you use that trackball. You use your like a fingerprint. As you are rolling that ball, you are putting your hand on that ball. Your mouse is moving. The pointer on the screen will be moving. So that is a trackball. The difference between that one and mouse is that for mouse you need to be carrying mouse around on the table, but this one is fixed. If you want to do anything, just be using the trackball to move around the cursor. So that is a trackball and what do we call it? A joystick. Basically, those guys that are in gaming department, you know, some we have some guys that they can get from morning to night. They will know joystick very well. So, guys, that is that on the hardware. So, may I ask us to give examples in the chat box, examples of the hardware component of the computer? Give us example of hardware devices that we have in the computer as we are planning arithmetic, the processing unit. What have you been doing? We are talking about the computing system. While you are putting the examples of the hardware there, let me remind us again what we are doing tonight. We are talking about the computing system. I would say it is the overall thing that makes up the computing environment, and it makes up of three things: the computer system, environment. Then we started with the computer system, which is the number one thing that the computing system is made up of. And under that computer system, which is made up of the hardware and the software. Then we started with the hardware. We picked the hardware. What is the hardware? It's the hardware, those are of course the physical component of the computer, and it is made up of input and output. It's made up of input. Hardware alone is made up of input, processing, and of course output devices. Input, processing, and output devices. That is what the hardware is made up of. And then we started with the input devices. We've mentioned examples like keyboard, mouse, joystick, trackball, and scanner, and we've explained each of them. Now we'll move to the second thing that we can find as an example of the hardware. An example of the hardware. Now we'll talk about the processing unit, which is another example of the hardware, the processing unit. Okay, thank you for giving us examples, guys. I appreciate that. So let me do this. What is the processing unit? When you are feed or you fed your computer with data, what are you expecting the computer to do? You want to process that data. As you are pouring out your mind in typing, you have a story burning in your heart, you are typing it, parara, parara. Next thing you want to do is to format it into a well-written story, to edit it, to typeset it, to format it, to make sure it's aligning with the paper, the printing settings, and the rest of them. When that is ongoing, the time that you are actually pouring your mind using the keyboard, you are just giving inputs. When you start doing the editing, the formatting, then you have entered processing. You are processing the data you've already fed the computer with. So how does the processing take place? Where does it take place? What are the examples of devices that participate in the processing? So the processing unit is made up of the arithmetic and logic unit, which we call ALU. Please learn abbreviation a lot. Learn abbreviations a lot. So that is the first thing you find, what is it called, in the processing unit. The ALU, the control unit, and the main memory. Three things makes up the processing unit. The ALU, arithmetic and logic unit, no need to get bothered. Uh, I think that my question is not complete, but just you understand what I'm trying to ask. So the main memory, also known as the primary memory, is made up of the read-only memory ROM and the random access memory RAM. Now let's talk about these two. Now this course is a very interesting one. It should help you to know computer, not just for reading sake. Now let's use your phone for example. I know that some of you, when you want to get a new phone, you like shouting, please, oh, I want big RAM, oh, I want big RAM, and I want big space. Why are you doing that? Why do you want that? Now let's try to look at some things and their importance. Now, the processor of your phone, let's use your phone for example, because you all know phone and you can relate to your phone. When you want to go and buy a phone and you see the CPU processor as maybe one point something, there is a tendency that that phone will not be smart enough. It may be lagging, it may be lacking in some things because the processor is very low. You can't compare a phone of the microchip, the processor that is in the phone, or a phone of 1 point, maybe 1.2 now, to a phone of 2.1. There is a far difference in that. That is on the processor. And what is the work of that? One of the basic thing is that the workload and the speed at which your phone will be processing uh, data is dependent on that the model or version of the processor that is inside. So if my processor is very low now, it's like I'm using a phone that will always give me headache. You know that those kind of phone that you will feel like smashing them on the ground because of frustration. Mhm. Now we'll also talk about the brother of that, the one that looks like it. So we have the brother that look like it. Sorry, I need to adjust something. So, which is, we talk about the the processor, and we say that we are using the phone for example. We have different versions of processors, and of course the work they do. Now, what of the RAM? You guys are used to shouting, I want big RAM, oh, I want 8 gig RAM, I want 16 gig RAM, I want. What is the work of the RAM? The RAM work is, the processor, I said, it's in control of the workload that your your phone can do and the speed at which it's going to actually be able to cover each of those workload per time. The work of the RAM is, you know, you open WhatsApp, you open Facebook, you open TikTok, you open phone app, you open this app, you open your bank app, and you minimize all of them, and all of them are working in the background simultaneously, and your phone is not lagging, is not hanging, is because you have a good RAM. So what is the work of RAM? It's an operational memory. The faster sorry the higher your RAM, your phone RAM, the RAM in your phone, then the faster you'll be able to do different things at the same time without even bothering about maybe the phone will start hanging or something. So if you are using a phone of 1 gig RAM, there is a tendency of frustration, because when you are using a phone of then you open your WhatsApp and your Facebook, things will start getting slow. The phone's operation will start getting slow. That is one thing about that. Thank you for giving me a heart. I appreciate that. So, all those I'm talking about, too, especially those of us that have used item phone before. Item, I'm not spoiling you. I'm not spoiling you guys. Oh. Item phone, so item phones, especially all those olden days one, those old versions that were still doing like 1 gig RAM or 500 MB RAM of the thing, half a gig RAM. They can be so frustrating that sometimes you feel like smashing the phone on the ground because of low RAM. So when the RAM is very low, this same idea applies to the computer. When you go to buy a computer of 1 gig RAM now, you have just signed up for frustration, because this one that you see me, I open almost 20 apps on the system and nothing is happening. If it's a system of low gig RAM, you will have to be offering the system every more than 2 or 3 apps at the same time. So the RAM is going to contribute to the speed of the operation, and then how many. So if you are going to get a new the type that opens so many apps at the same time and you work, if you like multitasking, you must go for a phone or a PC with at least 8 gig RAM or so. A higher 4 gig RAM will still work small, but make sure you if you are a multitasker. Now, what of the ROM? If we say that the processor is going to deal with the workload that your your phone or your PC can carry, and then the speed at which it's going to do the work. And then we say the RAM is operational memory. It determines the speed or the flexibility of the phone or your device, whether phone or PC, whether it's going to be hanging or not. That is on RAM. What of the ROM? And what this knowledge is also important for those of you that have not yet gotten your PC, so that when you want to go and get your PC, you will know what to look out for and the reason why you are asking for those things. Because some of you, you know how to ask, please, so I need big RAM. But if they ask you, why do you want big RAM? You don't even know. Oh, please, so the processor, I need 2.4 or 2.5. If you ask you why, you don't know what the work of the processor is and why you're asking for it. You just had somebody said it before, where this course is exposing you to the use of each of them. Now, the ROM, which is the read-only memory. This one is the capacity of your phone, how much data you can pour into your phone. Some of you can download series of film. If there is any movie that is up to 50, what do you call them, seasons, you will download season 1, episode 1 to 10, up to season 50, and you will watch it. You will download it on your phone. If you are the type that like that, or that like downloading a lot of things, if you go and buy a phone of, let's say, 16 gig ROM, you will be frustrated. You will have to be deleting and deleting all the time. So the work of the ROM is like a drum, a capacity drum. How much can this your phone hold? How much can this your PC hold? And each of these things we are learning now, they have a lot they do in contributing to the price of your device. So an iPhone 11 Pro Max that is 64 gig now, you can't compare the price with the one that is maybe 256 gig, because the higher the capacity and the RAM and the processor, then the higher the price too. So that is it. So guys, what have we been talking about? We are talking about the second part of the hardware. We said the computer system is made up of the hardware, the processing unit. The computer system is made up of the hardware and software. Then we pick the hardware first and say the hardware is made up of the input unit, the processing unit, and the output unit. We've talked about the input unit. We are talking about the processing unit now, and I think we've done justice to that too. The processing unit is made up of the arithmetic and logic unit, ALU, the control unit, and the main memory. And we've talked about the three of them. But the main memory is also known as the primary memory, and it is made up of your ROM and your RAM, which we have also explained in this class. So the RAM and the ROM stands for read-only memory, RAM stands for random access memory. So guys, let's move to the next thing, which is the output. We have talked about input and output. Some icebreakers for you guys. RAM stands for okay. So let's beat those questions while I move to the output unit, still under the hardware, the output unit. Now, the output unit is made up of those media to which data instructions for processing the data, which is programmed, and the result of the processing operation are displayed for the user to see. That is the output unit. The most basic example of the output unit that you learn is the monitor. The monitor is a screen of your computer. We call it monitor. That one that looks like a television, and on your laptop, the one you call the screen of your laptop, is called monitor. And that monitor is the basic output device you will learn about, because everything you are doing, you are seeing the result through the screen, through the monitor, So, and that monitor serves as a visual display unit, which we call VDU. in computer. So the monitor is a primary example of the output device, and it serves as the VDU, uh, which stands for Visual Display Unit. Visual Display Unit. So that is about the output device. Let's take a short recap on hardware again. Hardware components are made up of the input, the processing, and the output. For the input, the ones you use to enter your data into the computer. I will give examples. For the processing, the ones that deals with you manipulating the data that you've entered into the computer. And for the output, we have a basic example, which is the monitor, which serves as a visual display unit. Another example of the output unit is the printer, because anything you want on paperwork, the printer will give you the result. Once you are done processing it, you click on print, you get the result on the paper through the printer. So the monitor and the printer, the basic examples of the output device. So we'll go to software, which is the next thing we'll talk about. And software is also very simple. Like I've mentioned earlier, for instance, this YouTube application we are using now is a software. Uh, the browser we are using, Chrome, is a software. Anything that looks, you see, when you open your phone, that you are swapping phone, what is the name of this one? Your bank app, your phone call app, your any app you download at all those app applications. Applications are what we call app. The short form is app, that is app. So the full thing is application. It's application that we because we are so lazy to be calling application in full, we just say app. I have 30 apps on my phone. I have 20 apps on my phone. Each of those apps on your phone will represent a software. It can work for you. You can achieve some things. So you can use them to achieve some things. However, you can't touch them. They are softwares. I know some of you will say, but I'm touching it on my phone. Can you enter into your phone and touch it like this? Apart from you just swapping it on the screen, can you enter the phone and bring it out and touch your bank app, your UBA app, your whatever app you are using? So it's a software. Computer software is a series of instructions. What is computer software? There are a series of instructions that enable the computer to perform a task or group of tasks without even looking at this definition. Since you know that your bank app is a software, your phone call app is a software, WhatsApp is a software, you already know that those are kind of applications on your phone or on your PC that helps you to perform tasks. When you open WhatsApp now, there is something you want to achieve, you want to chat. When you open Photoshop now on your phone or anywhere, your TikTok now, you want to have fun, you want to upload videos, you want to watch videos. So those are tasks. In order to perform those tasks, you need some things called software. So the software now is a series of instructions that enable the computer to perform a task or series of tasks, which means some softwares, when you open them, you can do so many things on them, and there are some of them that is only one thing you'll be able to do on them when you open them. So it's not boring. So that is another icebreaker there. And let's see. Again, I will take the definition for the sake of exam and TMA. Oh, sorry, the course doesn't have TMA, but for the sake of exam, computer software is the series of instructions that enable the computer to perform a task or group of tasks. When I actually wrote this course, it was a very cheap one for me. It was a very cheap course, actually. So you should be able to score 40, 50 in the exam. So a program is made up of a group of instructions to perform a task. A program is made up of a group of instructions to perform a task. And what is that program we are talking about? Those are your applications that we're actually talking about. Now, series of programs linked together make up software. Series of programs linked together make up software. Make up software. So Computer programs could be categorized into system software, utility software, and application software. Now, we are going to explain a bit on these ones, the categories of the computer software that we have, the system software, the utility software, and the which you okay, it's like my screen is trying to now. I hope you guys can still see me though. Okay, it's back now. So let's look at the categories. What do they stand for? They say system software. Your system software basically is your operating system, the operating system your computer is using. That is the one that is allowing the computer to work. If you remove it from the computer is as good as dead. Just like your phone too. You have the Mac, the iOS, that is iPhone operating system, Android operating system. Those Android, those iPhone, once you remove them from the phone, what you have remaining is just an empty gadget. So the system software is the one in charge of, is like a father. Every other type of software you find, every other type of software you will see on your PC operating, they are all dependent on that system software. The system software is like a server, is like the mother, or is it mother we are going to use, or father? But every other thing, let's use mother because mother seems to be more responsible. Sorry, you guys, I'm not, I'm a man too, but mother seems to carry more burden. So you consider them as the mother, upon which every other software that will operate on the PC will be depending on to function well. Utility softwares, they are also part of your computer. Those ones came with the PC actually. They came with the PC, and they just from the name utility. Excuse me, I'm trying to come up with perfect example of those software. So when we have uh software that are like inbuilt, they are used to perform some basic operation for the betterment of your computer. Like if you have a uh, let me say a backup and restore, for instance, on your phone now, backup and restore function is a utility software. Like when you can back up your phone on it, that one is not part of the operating, sorry, it's not an operating system, but it's a utility software that uh, is responsible for the settings of your phone. The settings of your phone, you can manipulate your phone through them. Like for the PC now, we have like WinR. That's the one you use to compress and extract your files, like the BitLocker that you use to encrypt your data, and so on and so forth. Let me not bore you guys so that you guys don't. So the type of software on your PC that you use to clean your disk, like when the disk is faulty or becoming full, the one you that is not like the one you downloaded externally. They also came with your PC. You can find all those utility software where you can get them externally, but most of them came with the PC, and you can actually use them to do one or two functions in your PC. Then we have the application software. That is when you go to Play Store, Google Store, App Store to download because you want to use them for something. Somebody told you, so you are still using paper to enter your account. There is an app. The app you just enter your what you sold in a day. The app will do your calculation, give you your daily sales record, even tell you whether you have loss or gain. Go and download it. The name is pa 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 pa. So anyone that you download yourself, you install on your phone or on your PC to perform one task or the other is called application software. It's called application software. So it's as simple as that, guys. What are we talking about? Computer software. And we said there are a series of instructions that enable your computer to function, to perform a task or group of tasks. And of course, we have programs in the computer because series of linked when you link programs together, you will get software. But what the programs we are talking about, they come in three categories: the system software, the utility softwares, and the application softwares. So I have a question to ask you guys as an icebreaker before we go to the last thing we are going to do tonight, the computer users. If I go to the computer village now and I get a Mortal Kombat or a PS software, what kind of software is it? Or maybe I went to the computer village and I got a software called Candy Crush, a game. What kind of software is it? Is it system software, utility software, or application software? Let's drop our answers in the chat box. When I go to the computer village to get Candy Crush game or PS or Mortal Kombat or anyone or Zombie, what kind of software is it? Is it going to be system software, utility software, or application software? Yes, I can see your answers, your responses are making sense. I hope we have not passed the time. The class are meant to stop at 45 minutes. This is already 50 minutes. All right, let's quickly do the computer users and then I'll give you an assignment and we are done tonight. So, computer users. Computer users are the different categories of personnel that operate the computer. Once you are operating the computer, you are uh, a computer user. Just like a phone that is the computer that use the computer, and network is already giving us signs that we are almost done with the class. So we have experts now under the computer users. While anybody that is operating a computer is qualified to be called a computer user, we also have categories. We have the expert and the casual users. The casual users, they want to play game, they want to do MS Word, they just want to type their letter and then play games, watch movie with the computer, listen to music, and maybe browse the internet. Those ones are just casual users. While the expert users, they use the computer. They use computers to build applications, build software, and so on and so forth. Now, the expert users could be further categorized into computer engineers, computer programmers, and computer operators. So, expert users of the computers may be in form of an engineer in the computer field, a programmer of the computer. So, guys, as a form of recap, we are talking about the computing environment tonight. And of course, we said it is made up of, the computing environment, we said it is actually made up of the computer user. Is the computer user the first thing mentioned there? I want us to do a short recap. I think computer system right there. It's made up of the computer system, the computer user, and the environment. And of course, we've talked about the computer system, the one made up of hardware and software, the hardware made up of input device, processing device, and output device, the software, of course, made up of series of programs linked together, and a program may be in the form of the system software, the utility software, and the application software. And then we'll talk about the user, which are the people that operate the computer, different categories of people that operate the computer, and they can be in form of expert users or casual users. And for the expert users, of course, we have the engineers, the programmers, and the operators. Now, we will continue from the computing environment. We have, oh, my screen is no longer showing. Sorry about that. We are almost done. We are almost done. Let's just leave it. No need to show the screen again. So that brings us to the end of the class. But I have an assignment to drop. The assignment is this. I'm assigning it to Omoyasuno. So, Yasuna, take note if you can still hear me. Okay, I think I should just drop it. Assignment. So everybody should take note and submit it before the next class. So mention 3 applications you use. I hope I'm getting this. So guys, that is the homework, and I believe we are good to go. So good night everyone. We are good to go.